Welcome to Tuesday's show, the 16th of October 2012. I have my partner in crime sat here with me. Hello, mate.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Paul.
Great stuff. Right, we're back on a Tuesday night, my favourite night of the week.
Tis mine.
It's nothing to do with the radio show, it's the John Smith session, isn't it? Nothing to do with the show at all. We do have a guest a little bit later. Not how can I say it, not one of our known guests. Not a name that you'll all recognise, but we want to actually bring people forward who are doing their little bit in their own time and really putting the effort in, don't we? Because there are some people who are really, really trying hard and they don't get a voice. Because Facebook doesn't give you a voice, does it? No. It gives you a lunatic asylum, isn't it, really? That's what it's been described as, isn't it? Yeah. You sit there staring at the screen, writing all over walls with imaginary friends. Yeah, we know that. So we have got a gentleman coming to be with us a little bit later, Steve Frisby, and I think he has...
Tracy Melson.
Thank you for that. I just couldn't quite get it. So we are having a couple on later to talk to us about... It's not just about chemtrails, okay? We're going to go into why. Why chemtrails? And you're going to say, yeah, we know about the soil and stuff. No, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to get a little bit further in, aren't we?
Good. Yeah.
Because...
we need to.
Yeah, it's got to go a little further because the information that we're going to share is... I've never heard anybody else talking about it. We've been aware of it for a little while, but I've never heard anybody else actually going into the theory that's behind this. We'll save that for later. We'll save that. We have got a few news stories kicking around, haven't we?
We've got a few. Yeah.
But first of all, you go first then. How's your week been?
It's been... busy.
It's not going to go busy.
It gets absolutely crackers. I just can't believe it at the moment. But anyway, such is life. I'm just 7 days a week, but you've got to do it while. Make hay while the sun shines.
Don't moan.
No, I'm not
about
moaning.
being busy.
No, I'm enjoying it really. Well, I'm not really because you can't do other stuff. But what I wanted to mention was
spit it out. Come on,
commissioners.
Spit it out. Oh, police commissioners.
Police commissioners.
Yeah, I know. It's Batman and bloody Robin, isn't it?
No, I don't want to vote for a police commissioner. I want to vote for I want a Batman and Robin.
That's what we expect, isn't it? Del Boy. I think we are getting the police commissioner. What was it called? Metropolis, wasn't it?
Yes, it was the Metropolis. Yeah.
It's all coming true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
Wean it in.
We both had an epiphany this weekend, but we weren't. We did, didn't we?
We did.
Sunday it happened for me, and then Monday it happened for you.
It was Monday morning for me.
And tonight, we sat down and had a cup of tea earlier on.
We did, yeah.
And you said what I was thinking. And I thought, this is too bloody spooky.
It's scary, this, yeah.
Yeah, it is too scary, isn't it? But it's not going to make sense. We can't share it, can we?
No.
Well, we can try. But it's not going to work, is it?
No, but I know what you mean. We could have a go, but...
We've started to see another level, and it is that we're all pretending. We're all pretending, aren't we?
That's just
We're all performing acts, but you have to see it at another level. Because acts is just cast, isn't it? It's just a spell of cast. The cast do the acting, and the acting is the cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've seen it. I know it happened to me on Sunday. I was just thinking, we're all doing it. We all do it.
Yeah.
We all pretend.
It's just pretend.
Now, there is a news story in there that I want you to go with first. And it is... No, it's not that one.
Not that one.
No, it's the Celebrity Sperm Donor Club.
Oh, that one's right at the back.
The Celebrity Sperm Donor.
Yeah, here we are.
You couldn't make this stuff up, could you?
Give your baby...
You have it. No, you have it. Go on,
give your baby the XY factor.
Yeah, go on.
So they're asking girls that want to shoot for the stars. And you can go online and ask for donor sperm from somebody famous. So you can give your baby that extra IQ.
Go on, read it out, because I was laughing when I was reading it. I don't think I'll be able to read through it again. It's about 15 grand, isn't it?
The fees start at 15 grand, and it claims that a huge amount of money will provide them with a proven winner that will get a head start in life. There's even a quiz to help you select which area of speciality you would want the seed to be planted from to determine what personality, character, and lifestyle suits you most.
Designer baby.
Designer baby.
It's the little step, isn't it? The Fabian approach to designer babies.
Yeah.
15 grand.
Life is cheap, isn't it?
Not 15 grand. I'm sure you'll be able to get interest-free loans for that. Yeah, I mean, it's real, isn't it? You see, I actually researched that a little bit, and I thought it can't be true. It's just a newspaper filler, because there's no real names in there, is there?
No.
I thought it was a load of. It probably is a load of.
They name a few names, but we won't name them. But they won't be on the list anyway. They're far too busy and important to be on a sperm donor list.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it can't be so. What I'm saying is, the news story is making out that you can have sperm from the stars of the day, but read it closer. You're designing your own baby.
Yeah.
It's not. You see, a lot of people are going to read that wrong, aren't they? They think that you're getting Brad Pitt's surplus, right? But it's not that at all. This is designer babies. The next step. You decide what they want, and for 15 grand, they'll give you what you need.
Yeah.
You know, it's much more serious. I mean, I'm laughing at it, but I want to see. You know, it
does
exactly,
as it goes on. It says donor profiling. Yeah. Matches can be found according to preference on race, eye colour, hair colour, religion, skin tone.
See, we've known this for years, but even when it becomes like reality, you still think, no. But of course, you know, people do it.
Yeah.
People will do it because being successful in this reality is becoming more and more difficult, and people focus on looks. And I know they do, and I know they shouldn't, but I still know they do. And parents are realising that these looks things, it matters. So I think there'll be plenty of parents out there who will never admit to doing this. They'll never admit to it until the kid looks like neither of them. And then they still won't admit it, will they?
No.
They still won't admit it. Right, so that's the first one I wanted to go with, because that is designer babies. We don't do these news stories in any particular order of importance, do we?
No.
I mean, what's your advice on money? You've got some advice on money, haven't you?
I have,
How to double your money?
How to double your money
you know how to do it. It's just fold it over and stick it in your pocket.
Fold it in two.
Fantastic life,
Stick it back in your pocket and don't spend it.
Double your money, fold it now and put it back in your pocket. I mean, designer babies. I mean, why don't you just go ask just a good-looking guy to donate if possible?
Yeah.
It's getting crazy, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So what else we got in the news stories then? Because you haven't got a lot off Agenda 21 or Radio 4, as most people don't, have you? You did get something though.
No, that was they were pushing the police commissioners last week. Yeah, we're going to be able to vote for your police commissioner. Bam! Swat! Whack!
I'm going to have to watch an episode of Batman now just to remind myself the police commissioner. All it is actually just another level of control that we'll be able to. Well, we can't select, but we can elect. But I don't think voting's made any difference for a lot of years, do you?
No.
I think the votes are already in before we started.
It's
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that we've got any control now, does it?
No. That is pure.
I think we maybe did have, maybe 10, 20, 50, whatever. But we haven't. They can't be bothered. I mean, look around. They don't even have to try hard, do they?
No.
I mean, you can fool people all day. Look around. It's easier to fool people than convince them they're being bloody fooled.
It's predetermined, isn't it? We had Blair, and then we knew it were going to be Brown. Then in Brown's era, they said it were going to be Cameron, and now in Cameron's era, they're pushing Boris Johnson. They were saying that the other week. Do
you think it's going to be?
Hey, they're pushing
it. Goes with it,
it goes with the territory.
It goes with exactly where we're going.
Yeah,
because he is one of the best liars.
Don't matter who you vote in.
He's a class
act.
Yeah, I mean, proper. I mean, I wouldn't vote, but he is brilliant at playing. I mean, the character he portrays is bloody brilliant, isn't it? Because you've no idea if he's telling the truth or not.
No.
But you somehow don't seem to care.
You don't know, they don't.
Because he can say whatever he wants, laugh and giggle.
And laugh it off.
I mean, it's the Jeeves and you were talking about that earlier, weren't you?
Yeah.
You know, he acts like a bumbling buffoon from the upper class. But he's nothing of the sort.
Nothing of the sort.
Nothing of the sort, is he?
No.
I mean, if Cameron... Well, this is Cameron's basically pull your socks up and get on with it.
Yeah.
If you don't, we're going to... They always do this.
They do, yeah. They always give you...
I don't know why we're still in the bloody puppet show, the Punching Judy bloody puppet show. I don't know why we talk about it, but it is fun, like.
Yeah.
Some people actually believe in it, you know.
They do.
Some people actually believe
I used to.
I know.
I was there. I was one of the big...
I see it, BBC One, Sky and everybody.
And he did some big hands like Kenny Everett. Yeah. I believe.
What you got? What else you got?
Well,
the numbers are in for Iraq, aren't they? The Iraqi stuff?
Well, it links on from the baby thing, designer baby, to the actual sad story of... that in Iraq, the amount of birth defects that are being caused by the depleted uranium in the bullets that are left and the bombs that.
But there's no mention in the story about the soldiers coming home and suffering the same problems.
No,
is there?
None of that.
There is no mention in that.
No.
You know, I don't know how they managed to get these soldiers to actually do this. I mean, depleted uranium was, well, it wasn't used, was it? I mean, 20 years ago, I think it was, just wasn't used at all.
No.
I mean, they just always find a use for something that's poisonous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I read a news story today, which we haven't got with us, and that was that some of the imported stuff from sort of South Asia and some of the South American countries, I mean, they actually mix, they feed the animals that they import shit, feces.
Yeah.
That's what they actually eat, and the fish especially.
Mm.
No.
Just not right, is it?
Oh, I don't know. You just think to yourself, I'm not reading that news story. I'm just not, because but you sort of know in your heart that if they can, I mean, if they can get away with it, they're going to do it.
I know round here that the price of feed's going up. Artificially created, this food shortages and everything that they're talking about, purely and artificially created. I know that some of the farmers, milk farmers, are actually feeding the cows sawdust soaked in molasses. So, as a cheaper feed alternative. I mean, and sawdust they're getting for free, and apparently the molasses is peanuts.
I understand that the pig market now, if you have to buy feed in for pigs, the cost of the feed to get that pig to market is more than you're going to get at market.
You're going to get at market, yeah.
It's going to keep going.
The madness is going to carry on.
The dairy farmers, they've already been enslaved, haven't they? Just about.
Yes, and then they're happy with it because they're getting. They've dangled the carrot of them getting paid for the crops before they've even grown them.
I'm on about the dairy farmers. No, you're on about you're on about the crop farmers. I mean, they've had a shit year this year. And a farmer in today said, "I've lost a lot. It's worthless.
Worthless.
He said, it's that wet now that I can't drill anyway. I can't drill for to seed the next one." Mm-hmm. So he said, I had a great year last year, and I'm going to lose it all and more this year. That's what he said.
There you go.
All and more this year.
Thought you were having a good year.
Yeah, you see, we're getting towards the weather thing now, aren't we? Yeah. Do we know it's true? No, we don't know it's true. Do we know they can do it? Yeah, we know they can do it, don't we?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
That's the factor here, isn't it?
Yeah.
We can't prove they're controlling the weather.
No.
But we know they can.
We know with harp and...
Yeah, the biblical bloody harp. And more times than enough, you can see them, can't you? Those magical trails in the sky.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Right, here we go. We're back then for our second segment, as I think they call it in Radio Land. Right, I'm going to actually tell you guys that been having a few internet problems. You've noticed over the past couple of shows that I've done. Actually diagnosed it was me that was having the problems. I was thinking it must be somebody else, but of course it ended up being me. So, after a long, lengthy phone call to BT yesterday, they are now monitoring my line for 4 days and doing what's called an SNR reset. And that involves that I might lose connection at any time over the next 4 days. So, with 1 hour and 37 minutes to go, fingers crossed. Okay, so I have warned you that if I do disappear, it is because my line is being SNR reset. And that is sound noise ratio. So if you're having trouble with your internet or you're having slow speeds on your internet, I am now an expert. Well, SNR reset is all I know, but I'll claim that I didn't know that yesterday. And it's working as well, actually. It is working a lot better. Hopefully you guys can hear me really well. Hopefully you can stay with us for the rest of the show. 24th of November. Looking forward to that day. Tickets are available now. This is not the biggest hall you've ever been in or hotel you've ever been in. We only have a limited number. And I think if we can spread the word around, I think we can at least hope to get some jolly good numbers there. 20 quid for 7 speakers. How can you not? How can you not? And I think yours truly is opening the show. I think I am. I don't know. Maybe I'm first. Maybe I'm last. I don't know. Maybe the running order isn't sorted yet. But I would like to go on first. Get it over and done with. I'm bloody terrified. It's all right sat in my bedroom shouting at the world and telling you what I know, but it's a little bit different on stage when you're being judged by you're physically being judged. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm bloody scared to death. I am absolutely scared to death. Right, 10 minutes, we're going to try and get our guest on. What else have you got in mind for us today, then? What else have you got? We're into October. The October surprise has not yet turned up in the American media that everybody's been expecting. I think we have a couple of stories there that are actually sort of complete opposites to each other, okay? And one is that the European bureaucrats are dictators and masters. They would like a 2.2 billion payment a year for their pension if they don't mind. And then there's another story that goes with it, which is the NHS is saying that it's costing far too much to keep old people alive.
Yeah.
You know, there's two, and you think to yourself, there it is. There it is. There's the confusion for you. It's absolutely right in front of you. What's it say about the fat cat?
The fat cat. UK faces 2.2 billion bill to cover Eurocrat pensions.
2.2
billion just for their pensions.
It's almost doubling, isn't it? Isn't it a doubling? It's virtually double what we've been paying, which means that they are awarding themselves a wonderful, wonderful index-linked gold pension pot. We have seen our local parasites, you might know them as politicians, our local parasites are backing up a report to give themselves a 40% pay rise to £92,000. Very nice.
That's
very nice.
Lovely.
Well, of course, corruption is getting expensive now.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, the only inflation is in the upper echelons of the house market and the Rolls-Royce buying market and the ship buying market.
Yeah.
They're the only ones there's where the money is, because they're spending it buying luxury items. Yep. You know, down here, I mean, we're stagnant. We're going backwards.
Yeah, at least they'll be able to afford to keep the lights on and the heating on.
I'm sure they have. I'm sure they've got energy-saving light bulbs. I would think their lofts will be well insulated. They won't run the tap when they're brushing their teeth, and it'll be 2-minute showers all round. The divide is becoming embarrassing, isn't it? 2.2 billion just to pay their pensions.
Yeah.
I mean, they do want to elevate. We know that they want to make themselves into gods, or to be worshipped as gods.
Yeah.
And we're going to discuss how they're going to get there with our guests in about 7 minutes' time, because it's becoming very clear now how they're going to get there. It's becoming very clear how they're going to... It's going to take some time. I think all you guys and girls are expecting the world to fall apart whichever side of Christmas. It's not going to go like that. No, you know, the people who've been giving us dates of when this is going to happen are numerous and foolhardy. Because how can you say that you know it's going to change on this day that it never has? We've had some bumpy rides along the way and some highs and lows. But the system is never going to lose control to that extent, is it?
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
I mean, while we're still expecting the event, the crash, the whatever, the day in history, they're quietly getting on with it, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
You know, so we've got to focus on... I actually think that we're not really going to get starved, or artificial scarcity cannot come yet. The smart meters aren't in place, are they?
No.
The smart meters aren't in place. The demonisation of cash has not taken hold yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We haven't got the homegrown terrorists, the cash dealers. We haven't got the people who speak differently, are the ones that you should watch. We haven't got the if you see something, say something going properly yet, have we?
Not really.
Not quite going yet.
And neighbours aren't quite dobbing each other in to that extent yet, are they?
We're not there yet.
No.
America's going to go first. I think everyone can see that America is going to be the domino that takes the rest of us down. But that's just the financial side. And we've been expecting America to fall for, what, 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah, I'm going to guess at 3, yeah.
I mean,
it's longer than that, really, isn't it?
Well, everybody's invested in the thieving system, aren't they? Okay, everyone's invested in the casino market. And nobody wants it to go down.
No.
So it's not going to go down. Because the printing debt to pay debt game has got a long way to run yet, hasn't it?
I would have thought so.
Well, of course it has.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Greece is absolutely struggling, and really struggling big style. But if you look in there, again, there's more stories about Greece. There's the hardship that Greece is going through, but then there's another story. There's a backstory to this.
There is, I noticed that.
Now, you can have that. You go with the backstory.
About the actual wealth that Greece has got.
Well, Greece hasn't got it now. No, the international bankers have got it now.
The international bankers have got their hands on the wealth that Greece has got.
Yeah, go through that. Remember, this is a full global control system that isn't just coming into place. It's just revealing itself. There's a very big difference in that. The European Union wasn't set up to try and achieve union. It was set up to bankrupt everybody, so they had no choice.
So they had no choice,
right?
Yeah.
This is where the banks... This has been put in place. I mean, the European Union was put in place in, what was it, 40, 45, 46, 47, when it was actually called that? But it was the League of Nations before then. I mean, they've been trotting on with this from 1919.
Yeah,
You know,
all they do is just change the name of it.
well, the idea is that you're meant to think it's something new.
Something
when
different.
they don't want to tell you that it's been going on for years, and we've about got the plan in place now. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything that we think they're going to do, they're either doing or they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, and I mean everything. They're going to do this. They've already done it. Look out for biological and chemical warfare. They're already doing it. This is what people aren't picking up. That everything that we're picking up in the news is past tense. It's already happened.
Already been done, yeah.
Right, let's get the beers sorted out and our guests sorted out. I just keep pressing the wrong button.
Just to fill the listeners in while Paul's doing that, we're hoping to have on tonight Steve Frisby and Tracy Melson from the Collecting Data on Chemtrails Facebook page.
Yeah.
I believe Tracy Melson helped set up the page along with Steve, and I chatted to them.
Here we go. Right, hello, Steve.
Hello, Paul. How are you today?
First time, but we are here. Thank you for joining us. It's hello from me and hello from...
and
hello, Stephen Frisby.
back to you.
Sorry, mate, you cut out a bit there.
Sorry, and I'm just saying it's nice to chat to you and finally got you on the show.
Yes, nice to be here, yeah. Thank you.
Just did a little bio before you came on while we were dialing up. We're just mentioning about the Collecting Data on Chemtrails page on Facebook, which is when we first met you and we first signed up as to be friends together on that page.
Yeah.
Along with, now is Tracy Melson with you tonight?
She is, yeah, but she's a little nervous.
Oh, a little nervous. Don't be nervous. It's there won't be that many people listening.
Yeah.
No, don't be nervous at all, honestly. It's just the first 5 minutes. Now then, let's... I think we're all aware of chemtrails, aren't we? We're aware of the difference. I think perhaps we don't need to go to that extent.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hoping that we can go a little bit deeper than a lot of people go this evening. On the bigger plan, I mean, I'm not going to launch into what chemtrails are. I'm going to ask you to... You go with an opener and we'll see where we go from there.
Okay, well, it's quite an agenda, really. They do want to depopulate the planet, and it's a serious issue. And the way they're going about it is quite subliminal, really, because there's not that many people. Well, there is loads of people we know, all listeners and groups all around the world, but it's done in such a way that the public are like brainwashed it through the establishment that it's normal, which is quite sickening to come up against when you're trying to explain to someone what's happening, but not everyone really know about it.
It's uncomfortable, isn't it, when you actually say to people, "Can you just look up there if you would? Just tell me what you see." And they say it's an airplane trail, and you say, "You're absolutely right. Yeah, it is." But how come it appears to start over there, and it runs along there, and then it stops there? Do you think that plane started doing something there and stopped doing something there? And you realise that level of challenge is too much for them to take, isn't it?
It is.
It's a chemtrail blindness that I think should be a diagnosable sickness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, go on, sorry.
Continue, yeah, please.
Well, this chemtrail blindness is unnerving, isn't it? Because what you're asking people to do, you're asking people to rationale that somebody's up to no good here. And that is difficult for children to do, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Children cannot accept that their parents would be up to no good. Because that's the reality we live in now. We've been living in that reality for some time, where, government is big brother, or big sis, or Beeb's auntie, that sort of thing, the man from Uncle, that sort of thing. It's always done the same way, isn't it? Throughout history, they always make out that they're here to help you while you're paying the wages, following the rules.
Yeah, everyone was like caught up in being paid as well, because there's so many people out there that could spill the beans at like the water testing labs around the country that don't want to work with anyone. People who work for the airlines and that know what they're doing, but they're doing it for a paycheck.
Yeah, you've experienced this then, because I've tried to get my food tested before, actually, because I have a fish and chip shop here in Ripon. I've tried to get my food just calorifically tested, and I can't find a laboratory that wants to do it.
They don't want to do it with water either. It's like I've tried lab upon lab on lab, and there's just no emails getting back to me, and it's just like a complete shutdown. It's like, what it feels like is, because this has been happening in America for some time now, it's almost as if our government has been watching America and watched how people try and combat chemtrails, and they put an absolute stop to having ourselves tested for these heavy metals. We can't go to a doctor and be tested for heavy metals, and all the labs, they're complete shutdown. So it's really difficult to get, testing for waters at the moment, because everywhere's just hush really.
Yeah, well, it's one of the reasons that we wanted to get you on the show, and I've just written down here. This was the reason for the site, wasn't it? Was to make people more aware of what is happening, and the efforts that people are going to, like yourselves. And that's why I wanted people on like yourselves, that you're actually concerned about what's happening, and the
very concerned.
stonewalling that we get when we go to our servants who are meant to be there to help us, and they don't want to even acknowledge that we exist.
But what this does is this reveals a level of conspiracy that is actually it's a little unnerving, isn't it?
Mm.
Because we say to ourselves, it can't be true. It cannot be true that this people know and can keep quiet. But after years of studying and understanding the human psyche and understanding how easily we can be fooled, the answer comes back eventually. It must be true.
Mm.
It's been, the thing with chemtrails, it's been happening for decades. It's been happening for decades now, and it's almost as if it's like people are like used to them being there, because it's been happening like slowly over a process of time. People have got used to these chemtrails, and now they just think they're contrails. And if we spoke to people who actually disagree with us, and it's kind of awful really to see that it's in people's consciousness to think that chemtrails are normal.
Well, let's move along a little bit then, because I'm going to ask you to perhaps, and if I can help in any way, I certainly will. But first of all, what are we finding in these chemtrails? I'm aware of 4 different sort of salts that are in there.
Yeah, well, the main 3 we hear of mainly is aluminium, strontium, and barium. But there's also other ones.
Sorry, titanium's the 4th, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the actual biblical salting of the earth is underway. Now we know that these metal particulates, amongst other things, but we'll start with the metal particulates first. Can I ask you to take from there what it is that the multi-agenda that the metal particulates are achieving?
Well, I think it's like part of the tool of dumbing people down, as well as the media. It's highly toxic, and aluminium lowers the acidity level of the body, or raises the acidity level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we do know that, first of all, they claim to be dimming our skies, don't they? They actually openly say that we are dimming the skies. And a BBC news article from 2006 confirms, and this is 2006, we're receiving 20% less sunlight. Now, I can certainly agree with that, because I've looked out all summer, and it's always felt like autumn, hasn't it? It's felt like forever autumn all summer.
Yeah.
And we've had thick level cloud cover, but only in the past few months, past month or 6, we had rain. These clouds are full of what we think should be moisture, but it never actually drops it, does it?
No.
It never does it. I mean, the thing about clouds is, if I get my notes, the thing about clouds is, and contrails, they can't exist in the same atmosphere. It's not possible that clouds and contrails can exist in the same atmosphere, because from what I understand is that the clouds are low altitude and high humidity, whereas contrails are high altitude and low humidity. Those two things are opposites to each other, so therefore cannot occur at the same time. But as for the dimming of the sunlight, we know it was 20% less in 2006, I'm trying to recall, I think it was 2010, a news article that said it was in excess of 22%. So I think we can say that it's at least 22% and lowering now. All to try and stop a problem that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move along, because they're still doing it. Right? They're still doing it. They claim that they're taking the CO2 out of the air, and they are. But these particulates are falling to the ground, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let you take over from there, Steve.
I think we might have lost them, to be honest.
You think so?
Yeah.
Where's it gone?
I think we've lost the call.
Oh, don't say his mobile's dropped off. Okay. Well, we'll give him a second. A second. I was just hoping to get him settled in there,
yes,
because we've got a long way to go with this, haven't we?
Yeah, we'll try dial again.
We have a long way to go.
Dial back.
Let's try and get him back on.
We are having a bit of... you were having some internet problems.
I actually haven't got microphones here at all.
All right.
So you couldn't hear a bloody word out.
All right.
Absolutely not.
Hello, I'm back.
Steve, sorry, I think I'm not quite sure what happened there, but we lost you for a second. Have you got a weak signal there in Sheffield?
Possibly, yeah. We've got this new house we're just moving into.
I think I actually had my microphone turned off. Was I talking about clouds there?
I haven't seen.
No, I was going to say, was I actually on about clouds there, and how clouds and contrails can't exist together?
Sorry, yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they just can't do it. The two things can't exist in the same sky. But anyway, these metal particulates, these salts that are brought to the Earth, you tell me what your findings are on those.
Well, I'll let Tracy speak on this. Oh, sorry, she didn't hear the question because I've not got you on speakerphone, but did you ask about what the cause of the effects of the salts are?
Yes. Yeah, basically, when these metal particulates do fall to Earth eventually.
Yeah, well, yes, of course, they detoxify the land and prevent the whole organic farming movement to flourish. Well, it shuts them down, really.
Isn't that?
It's also food control.
But we know they're neutralising the soils, so they become unable to grow naturally, don't we? We know that's part of the agenda. And we know genetically modified trees already exist. Mm-hmm. Eucalyptus trees were planted about 4 years ago in America. And these are genetically modified trees. No blossom, no fruit, no birds, no insects, nothing.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. 200,000 of them planted in America. Mm-hmm. I mean, these people are trying to take over nature, aren't they? They're actually trying to play God.
Yeah,
they think they're God, actually. Yeah.
Well,
they want total control over all our food sources. I mean, that's what they're after, really. It's just total and utter control over us. And once we've got control over the food sources, well, there's just nothing left, really. If we lose the right to grow our own food and to breathe clean, fresh air, I mean, we're quite doomed, really.
Well, I think we've already lost that. We've already lost that right, I believe. Not that we intended to. We just don't have that now. I am aware that the air we breathe is we are ingesting these particulates, and heavy metals are not good for our body. They actually they cause all sorts of problems, but primarily respiratory problems. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how. What do you think it is that's? Is it just fear that's stopping people? Because when we talk to people individually, we do find that to some extent they're aware of the agenda, aren't they?
Yeah. And
then we say, well, come and sit in with us and let's chat and let's and then, what is it? They actually are scared just to come and talk to us, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, what we're basically saying to them is they're pretty much sending you and your children to an early grave. And for some reason that I can't quite work out, you don't seem to be mad about it.
No. Yeah, it's challenging people because it upsets their whole life. People like to go around enjoying their lives, eating where they want and having extravagant lives to fulfill their egos, and opening their minds towards chemtrails and those agendas that are there to limit us and, genocide, basically. That's just too uncomfortable to fit into their lifestyle. I think people prefer to ignore the subject because it's just too uncomfortable news that we.
Well, I get
fear is really disabling, isn't it? Though I mean, when people live in fear, it can disable a person, and there's the whole mass media of like kind of like dumbing people down. It's like people go out to work and then they come home and they have the dinner and they switch the TVs on, or even worse, people just want to be like all these other celebrities, and they're like kind of, I mean, that's part of it. That's a part of how people don't want to know what's going on, because the mass media has got people so dumbed down that, you know, it's like, it is fear, and it'll just stop them because they're not really used to, you know, you don't see chemtrails on your news, you don't see half of what's going on the BBC News, and it is taking them out of the comfort zone. And the mass media.
Really... I can hear it. I can hear that passion in your voice. It's a frustration that we recognise, don't we?
Yeah.
We recognise it in the early days. We had that same frustration, and people sense it as well. They actually sense it, and I found that frustration is what scares them, because they think you're scared, and they think you're not going to help them. Because what people do when we speak to them is they translate it into, and can you change that? Because if you can't change that, why are you bothering me with this? You see, that's how people challenge you back. They say, okay, what you going to do about it? And I say, well, I'm hoping to get some people to help me so we can spread the message. And they say, well, you want me to help you? No, you sort it out.
It's not going to take a few people, though, is it? It's going to take a really tremendous amount of people.
It's a miracle, my friend. It's going to take a bloody miracle. Now then, these metal particulates that are neutralising the soil, that are making it so... and there's two companies that I'm aware of. One is Borgon is one of them, and of course our old favourite, the devil's favourite, Monsanto. The mountains of blood when you take that to pieces. Monsanto and Borgon. I mean, listen to these words. Borgon. Those are the two companies that I believe are mainly involved in developing GM organisms in all types. And they're going to be aluminium-resistant soils. They're going to grow in aluminium-resistant soils. And this is much more important, because normally plants can't grow. They won't grow. They won't respond. The cells stop dividing, and the plant stops growing because it knows that it's
soil conditions aren't right.
It knows, so it stops growing. Whereas Monsanto and Borgon and whoever else, they've developed this plant that recognises, but still its cells divide and it still grows, and it has all the necessary pesticides and that inside it to enable this to happen.
Yeah.
And we get to eat it. It's
and they're highly poisonous to us. I mean, there's some heavy metals that actually interfere with the frequency of our brains, and they can actually make us more violent and kind of react negatively towards things. They can actually do that. Where I used to live was quite rural, and it was heavily sprayed. All summer long was really heavily sprayed, and a few days it just felt like my whole frequencies in my brain was like interfered with, and for a few days I was like so moody, and if I didn't know about chemtrails, I wouldn't have clicked on. But like the third day, after feeling all these frequencies messing with my mind, I felt physically sick all day on the third day, and I knew I was being poisoned. And I wanted to go to the doctor, and demand the doctor for testing of, heavy metal poisonings. Right. And I was advised not to, because a friend knew of a lady who actually went to the doctors, and she was, it was put on her records that she was mentally insane. Oh. And another girl, she was ushered out of the doctors, and the doctor says there's nobody on the NHS or the private sector will be testing anybody for any heavy metals. So, it's like, how are we going to find out if it cannot be tested?
Were they sent away with a prescription for Prozac, though?
Pardon, sorry?
I say, were they sent away from the doctors with a prescription for Prozac?
Most likely, yeah.
Its main product, the main thing in Prozac is actually fluoride.
Right, okay. Now we know chemtrails are... we've talked about dimming, we've talked about the nanoparticulates that are in there. But we know that they're also it's weather control, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We do know that they can control the weather, and this is a method of doing so. We know that they've openly claimed that they can affect rainfall, but they only admit that they can do it maybe 5 or 10%, that sort of thing. I think Iran's already accusing the rest, isn't it, of accusing the West. I don't know why that couldn't come out properly, but Iran is accusing the West of causing drought conditions in their country, from what I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And I know in the film What on Earth Are They Spraying? One of the biggest names in there to speak for geoengineering is a guy called David Keith, and he's a member of the association of the advancement of science, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and he openly stood there and said that basically it's not really a moral hazard that we're risking here. We're sort of free riding on our grandkids, which means that we're taking a chance with their lives. And when he was really pushed on aluminium, because he was asked about submicron-sized particulates being harmful to human respiration, he accepted that the studies have been done, but the results haven't been published yet. And then he got pushed a little bit further, and he answered the question just like this. He said, now let me be more careful here. We haven't done anything serious on aluminium, and there could be something terrible that we'll find tomorrow that we haven't yet looked at. Now, that was his reply in that film.
I remember it.
You know, and that was the word for word. Now there is something in these chemtrails, and we know. And I'm going to try and encourage people to write this down. Okay, I've got something that I want you to do afterwards, or you can do it now. But I want you to YouTube dry particle storm. All right, you'll see there, a dry particle storm, and you'll see a black lamp test. All right, these fibres can only be seen with black lamps. Now, I don't actually know what one of those is, but you do, don't you?
I do, yeah. Because I'll just comment on some of the things you said there, Tracy, about going to the doctors and things. I come from an engineering and a welding background, and I know what detrimental effect heavy metals have on the body, because I was involved with getting welders to use fume extraction, because when they're welding, the heavy metals that they're breathing in gives them a shorter lifespan. And I know that cadmium is banned within the welding industry. They're not allowed to use it, and the cadmium was it made the weld pool more fluid, so it made it run quicker. And they've actually banned that now from any welding materials, because just breathing the fumes in shortened your lifespan. So it's the crassness of it, that we have a health and safety executive that's out there trying to save welders' lives, and in the same vein, they're spraying the skies with under this cover story that it's going to end global warming, and it just
It cannot end global warming. It's like these particles, what reflect the sun back in the daylight. We've got to think about the night time. During the when the sun's down, it keeps the heat in. So not only have our icebergs got to put up with the sun's heat, they've got to put up with the nighttime heat as well. And they're going to carry on melting. That it cannot defeat global warming. It just makes no sense.
No, we know that's a cover story, don't we? From that people have done, and this site that's collecting data on chemtrails is how we met. We know that's a big cover story, but we've got to get back to what the real agenda here is with what they're doing, and what your site was trying to do was, if I remember, was trying to get the numbers. And Paul here has always said, we only have truth and numbers. It's the numbers of people that are actually interested in the chemtrails and getting this information out to them about what...
And getting awareness out there. Yeah. It's a big part of it. It's just getting the awareness out there.
Yeah.
We've got plans to go up and down the country, just creating enough awareness where there's lots of people. We're prepared to do what we can in order to create more awareness in the general public.
Yeah. Now, from what I understand in the research Paul's done as well, they've taken the stuff that's coming down in the chemtrails. It's not just the aluminium and the strontium and the barium. which are obviously the metals. But it's linked to nanotechnology as well, isn't it? These nanotechnologies, when you breathe them in, actually link to your body and can mimic body cells and make strains, or is it webs, or?
Well, it's called transbiology.
Transbiology
is what it's called, yeah. And basically,
is that related is that related to Morgellons disease then?
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm sorry.
Yeah, and these fibres that are in the air that we can't see in white light, but we can clearly see in black light. All right, that YouTube video is still. I did check before I went online; it was available. Let me give you the name again. What was the name of it? I'll find it in a second. Anyway, these fibres that are in the air that we can't see, we're breathing in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're breathing in, and it is it's an unnatural, man-made nanobiology, isn't it? And it can live outside and inside the body. And what we're taking is not a natural process for us to ingest, and it's changing us, because this structure is allowing us to not only receive but transmit as well. We're being turned into remote control transmitter receivers. That's what they're going to control us with electromagnetic frequency. I think they're a long way down the line. The research that I can find that's been revealed on this transbiology nanotech goes back to 2000. So we can safely say that for 12 years we've been ingesting these nanoparticles, and the people that are really suffering with it, Morgellons appears to be a mirror of what it is that these particles are. And if you want to take it from there, Steve, that'll be great.
Well, I wasn't prepared to speak, but I'll try my best.
Well, it's okay. I mean, we're just chatting. It's not. Don't worry about it. Just let it relax a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just spotlight there, But do continue.
Just sharing what we know, Steve. That's all we want to do. We just want to share what people have found out.
Well,
I urge people to go to a research lady called Jan Smith, and her website is morgellonsexposed.com. Now, this lady is a sufferer. Okay, she is one of the first people who said, "What on earth is happening to me?" And it didn't make sense, and nobody could tell her what was happening to her. She couldn't find anybody to help her, so she decided to do it herself. And these are the sort of people that I like to read about. Mm-hmm. Because once you start on a path and you're determined, it doesn't matter who gets in your way. They're either going to help or you're going to moan down on your way there. Mm-hmm. And Jan Smith, morgellonsexposed.com, she has made the link with Morgellons and what is in these fibres. Because these are tube-like fibres which have red blood cells in them. And these red blood cells shouldn't be able to exist outside the body, but they do. And when we ingest them, they actually live inside us and start reproducing of their own accord. And this cannot happen in nature, which means this has to be a man-made program. Yet they progressively ram it down our neck. And I totally believe that everything we actually discover, what they're up to, they've either completed or they're just about finished doing. And I think we're late in the game understanding this. This stuff was exposed. It was exposed in 2000, but it never really got a foothold until I learned about this in 2008. And there's a lovely little lady, a blonde-haired lady, who does a great talk on this. And I'm going to stick it on the Critical Mass Facebook page when we've finished. She's got a strange name, Sylvia something. It's lots of S's, but she's lovely. She looks minuscule. Mm-hmm. But the information she shares is bombshell stuff. It really is. And she goes into the medics of it, which I can't understand and explain very well. But what I did get was that we are slowly being modified into hybrids, and once we've gone to hybrids, then we're going to become totally electrical control beings, and we are going to be unable to function without the control system controlling us. We are going to be able to be remote control.
That's just utter control over us that they want. That's all it's for, just utter control over us. But if people just realise that there's more of us than there is them, and people have just got to got to realise the truth, really. It's like, it's so obvious now, you know, what they want to do with chemtrails. It's just, they just want control over us. We earn all the money for them.
Yeah, the food issue of spraying the land, that's also involved in this Morgellons, because healing Morgellons, you can avoid Morgellons by keeping your alkaline diet, eating like raw foods and organic foods, and drinking loads of water and taking certain supplements. You can keep yourself very alkaline, and it does combat Morgellons, I hear.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was just saying that, sorry, I spoke over you there, Steve. Bicarbonate of soda helps as well, by all accounts, doesn't it?
Yeah, I use it myself. And molasses and apple cider vinegar. The food is medicine.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a herbalist on a few weeks ago, and we're going to have him back on.
There's so much to learn, isn't there? You just can't get it all in. You do your best, but I mean, you know, I'm sure you're busy doing a day's slave camp training, you know, a day's slave labour for the concentrate camp, which is what we live in. Never mind looking for the concentrate camp. It's a bloody can't concentrate camp that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
I see people's focus. It's down to minutes if you're lucky, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's down to minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I employ 3 youngsters. I always give them a hard time on the show, and I don't mean to, because these kids are what they've been made. It's not their fault.
Mm-hmm.
But by golly, getting those kids to actually be of any use to me, it almost feels like I'm doing a service to charity. I mean, the amount of...
It's the media, though, isn't it? You know,
there's too much distraction around, and you know,
the media keeps people in fear. You know, it's like people are afraid to go out, you know, and talk to the neighbours because there's so much violence in the media, and then there's this violence everywhere, and people are just so afraid to just step out and just talk to another person. You know, sometimes it's ridiculous.
I know, if you say hello to somebody in the street, I mean, I remember Christmas Day last year. I went up to see my mum. My mum died a little while ago, anyway, a couple of years ago. And I went up to see her. She was with her friends in the graveyard. And I went up to see her, and everybody was out Christmas morning, and they were all dressed, and not one single person I saw on my walk didn't say hello.
All right.
They all said hello, good morning, and I hope you're having a lovely day and happy Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a wonderful feeling that day.
Mm-hmm.
But why just that day?
One day.
Why do we feel obliged to do it that one day? I didn't know any of these people, but it was like rude not to say hello.
Mm-hmm.
But why doesn't it feel like that every day?
That's been replaced by a TV screen now, hasn't it?
I know it has. I know it's a design. It's not a TV screen. I call it a horror story or a revenue reducer. Revenue reducer, because while you're watching that, you're giving your time, your energy, and everything else to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you ain't earning a penny while you're sat watching that thing. And even if you think you're learning something, so are 12 million other people at the same bloody time.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have any special talent that the 12 million other people have also bloody got. You know? And it is the word programming. The word programming comes from progressively ramming it down our neck. All right?
Well, children are being conditioned at this moment with chemtrails, actually. Over in America, they're teaching children from NASA that chemtrail clouds are normal and natural clouds. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'd like to think the day when it comes over here, that's serious conditioning, you know, and that these clouds are normal. They're not normal, you know, they're not contrails either. Contrails just disperse, you know, after a certain time. These chemtrails are zigzagging. They're just laying out grids all over the skies, you know. These are not normal. You know, these are chemicals what are being sprayed upon us, you know, and people just can't see it. Because
bloody murderers, they are. They're bloody murderers. There's no messing about. Don't mince with words, is it? They're bloody murderers.
Population.
Yeah, I think the guys flying the planes, I think they really do think they're working the climate change deal. I think they really do think. I'm sure that it's not possible to get that many planes in the sky without telling them you're saving the planet. And I'm sure those guys who are driving those planes, that's what they truly think.
Mm-hmm. You know, they're not going to employ super intelligent pilots, I don't think, that are aware and heart-centered.
Well, let's get on to the good news side of things. Let's try and look in a positive light, because what we've explained is happening. What they're doing is exactly what they're doing. None of what I've shared this evening, or what you've shared, or what we spoke about, none of it is theory. All of it is factually checkable. Mm-hmm. I'll be putting all the articles that I've used to research with today up on the Facebook page. Please, 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 everybody, get a little bit more informed. If we all start saying the same thing, the message becomes a little bit lost. We need to start being better at saying the right thing.
The right things, yeah.
You know, if we're going to hear what somebody else is saying and repeat it, we're doing exactly what the system asks us to do.
We're just copying.
Copy, paste, and repeat on demand.
Yeah.
We need to learn our subjects a little bit, and that's all we can ask people to do, is to get involved, get your own facts, get them in your head, and share them. Mm-hmm. You know, we
definitely have to get together on it and actually go out there and find evidence.
But don't you actually? I mean, if I was asked this question, if you could go back in time and go back to sleep, would you?
No. No, I wouldn't. No.
Life is exciting, regardless.
No, yeah.
It's a gift. This is a gift and a curse, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, most definitely.
It's beautiful and ugly at the same time.
The joys I feel of being awake and away from the reality of the media are just so massive compared to the joys what TV are telling you to feel. Or the celebrities, there's too many people, I want to be like this celebrity and this makes me happy. It's like that reality is just so shallow, so... and because I know truth, I know what's going on, the joy I feel is just so immense compared to what I would if I were asleep.
But
that's how positive it can be.
But you've also done more than that with it, because I speak to people who say, yes, I know. Yes, I'm aware of that. Yes, I know. Mm-hmm. And still they will not get involved. They just say, I know, and it's a waste of time.
It's a responsibility.
Those people get me more mad than any of the others, because that's just unbelievable that you can say, yep, I know they're killing me, yep, I know how they're going to kill my grandkids, I know they're going to steal everything, and you know what, I don't bloody care. I actually feel very aggressive towards those people. They really do annoy me. I actually think in my own little mind that I have been given the ability to see this reality because I'm brave enough to use it. And I think that's why we've spoken this evening, because you're brave enough to use that gift. It's called the present because it is a gift, because you're living in the present. Everybody else is living in the past. They're all watching another person's reality and living in dead time, the past, right? We're living in the present. We understand what reality is. We don't watch a second go by. We want to be first, do something. And I love speaking to people just like yourself, Steve and Tracy. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, keep up the good work.
Thank you. We will.
It is fantastic to find like-minded people. Our station is actually based in Manchester. I'm only in Ripon. I'd love to keep in contact with you. I'll use your Facebook page to keep in contact with you if I can. And
lovely. Thank you.
You know, we're having our own little conference. We're having the Critical Mass Radio Conference on the 24th of November. And if you were available or you wanted to come along for the day and meet everybody, it would be a pleasure, because connections is all we...
Yeah, they love it.
Let's make connections. Let's strengthen those connections. Let's get on comfortable speaking terms at all times, because whatever you're up to, I'm happy to use the station to highlight what you're doing. And if you get involved and, give us a bit of support at the other end, this is what we should be doing. We should be sharing. Yeah. Let's share because we care, and let's not argue about anything, because whichever way we get there, we're going to get there one way or another.
We will, yeah. And
we will.
Yeah, we've got to stay strong together and be in unity.
Steve, I've got your mobile number now. I hope you get online very soon and we can catch up on Skype and keep in contact.
Thank you.
I suspect you'll soon be back online. Am I right in thinking you?
I've just moved. Next week I'll be
I'm going to say good luck with the move, Tracy. I know you've been moved.
Thank you.
We're getting there.
Good luck with the curtains, guys, and thank you for joining us. Take care.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.
There we go. That's what we should be doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we should be doing. Getting people to step forward. I mean, Steve and Tracy they're working their hearts out to try and get their Facebook page popular.
Yeah.
And now they've taken a big step forward.
Yeah.
Now they've done something different. Mm-hmm. And now I suspect it'll give them more confidence.
Yeah.
You know, to speak out. We've done it. We've actually. I mean, going on the radio, it was terrifying when we first did it, wasn't it? But now, I mean, you can't keep me bloody off it.
No,
Right. That young man who's doing that is wearing a hoodie, and he has. He's around about maybe, I would say 11 or 12, and he has a very hard-looking face that scowls at the right times, and these are the methods that they're going to employ. And when he says there'll be famine and scarcity and whatever, it's because there's going to be.
Yeah.
That's how they're going to do it. It's going to take a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think, between the next sort of 3 to 5 years, we'll see the agenda moving on. But I think by 2020, there'll be somewhere. It's too depressing, isn't it? It's too depressing, isn't it? Now, if you can picture, did you actually see the Angry Kid one? Do you remember seeing the Angry Kid one with the hoodie? Remember seeing that one?
I will do, yeah.
Right. Because what I'm going back to is, we just played Zombie on purpose there. You know, I try and link the song, but remember Brave New World.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the lowest of the low? Right? And what were they wearing? Hoodies, weren't they?
Yeah.
You seen the film?
Mm.
Have you seen the film?
I've read the book Brave New World.
Yeah, but have you seen the film as well? Because
no, I've not seen the film.
Visually,
of it, no.
Right? It's on Google. I think. I'm sure it's on Google. I'm sure I've seen it on Google Films.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's online somewhere. I'll find it later. But what I'm saying is, the lowest of the low were very small, about 3 or 4 foot, dressed as almost a Grim Reaper, always looked down. Okay, they never looked up. Always looked down, and only spoke when spoken to, and couldn't speak properly.
That's right. They were like in the book. I do remember it, reading it in the book. They did all the rubbish jobs, didn't they?
They were the lowest of the low. I forget the terminology. It's a long time ago since I read the book now. But I forget what they were called. But they were the little people doing the dirty jobs. Mm. Whatever. I can't remember.
Did he refer to them as... No, they weren't drones. No.
But what I'm saying is, look around. Look around. They're following a plan that we were told of at least 80 years ago. Mm-hmm. The truth is in fiction, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the fiction's in the news. Mm-hmm. It is becoming I don't know. We are wandering on the same path, aren't we? We see the same scenery now. Mm-hmm. Because we spent so much time together, we are seeing the same things.
Who was it that said true life is stranger than fiction? It is
everybody you can see. I mean, is it a gift? Is it a curse? It's both. Some days I have good days. Some days I don't feel sorry for me though.
No,
I don't feel sorry for me. Yeah, I feel sorry for what I can see. What I can see.
The future's definitely not orange.
Who knows? There'll be something in that saying that'll come out in the end. You know that. We'll work it out in the end. It sometimes takes us a few years to actually catch up with these crazy plans. I mean, are we going to accept that these people at the top are probably the most nasty people that have been in control for probably the last 2,000 years? Mm. Because that must be true, mustn't it?
They've got to be. They've got to be real psychopaths to want to do what they want to do.
Well, but I think I've read somewhere one of them said that we were God's gift to man, and now we must make ourselves man's gift to God. This is their justification. Mm. And I know I've made the mistake in years gone by of looking around and thinking, sometimes you look around at the confusion and the ignorance that exists, but then you always must remind yourself, they created this. Every baby has an IQ. Okay? Everyone has an IQ. And that IQ just needs to be developed and nurtured and loved, and it'll come through. Mm-hmm. Yep? So why are they going down? Now, you made a very valid point about exams earlier today. And you said that you'd actually figured out something about exams that makes more sense than what I've heard elsewhere. And you figured this out.
Yeah, I figured it out. It was what brought it to my attention was the scandal that's gone on with this English exam that's been marked, and the examiners were given parameters to work in of how to grade the papers that they'd put in, or the exams that they'd put in. And we've got 45,000 people, young people, having to go and resit an exam because the fiddled with the figures. They fiddled with the parameters of how this exam was graded. And I think back to my time when I were doing my exams, and they made you do a mock exam. And that made a mockery of it to start with, a mock exam, and that would tell the teachers how many people were going to pass that exam anyway. And it were a dual-edged sword, wasn't it? It either made you overconfident, and so you knew you were going to walk it, or it was a kick up the bum, and it made you work harder.
Yeah, but let's just go back a bit, because you know what you're explaining, but it took me a second to actually catch on what you were saying there. When you told me earlier, it wasn't until you got to the end of explaining, I thought, oh, I've got it now. And that is that the mock exams are designed, to see where you're at, so they can write the actual exam itself.
The exam.
So you achieve the pass marks that they require.
So
they can get the pass marks to increase, but your IQ to go down.
Go down, yeah.
So that's what the mock exam is. I mean, mock is just an interesting word anyway.
Yeah.
But that's what you were showing, and I thought, that makes perfect sense.
So they're manipulating the figures. Yeah. It don't matter what exam you've passed and what grade you've got, because that's going to be manipulated by them already. They're preconceiving what...
We spoke earlier, didn't we? It's occurring to us now that the whole thing is scripted.
It's scripted.
The whole thing. I mean, let's try and do this pretend reality again. Let's try it one more time. And that is that because you and I have discovered the language together, and I've had a little bit more time, so I talk about it maybe more than you do, but you've been with me all the way. And it's occurred to you at the same time as me now that this language was written for this time. It's evolved, of course it has. It's changed over time, and the dictionaries keep the upgrades going. But it's occurred to you that this language was written so we would actually perform exactly as we are now.
Exactly.
It is to perform, and they want us to perform in the pretend. That's why they gave us a second shadow. They gave us the shadow because we're pretending. We all pretend that what we're doing is valuable. We all pretend that this authority that perhaps somebody has given us is real. We pretend that life is better when it's getting worse. We pretend that money is real when we know that we're working harder and getting less. We pretend that this is our country when we don't own a single blade of grass. We pretend that we drive cars when we're only the keepers. Yeah, you're the registered keeper. It's all pretend, isn't it? The whole thing is fake. It's all illusion. We talked about contracts, didn't we? You see, contract is to make smaller, but that's just the first reality. The second reality of contract is to act in your worst, to act against yourself. To counteract is to act in a way that's not good for you. And that's what they've made us do. They've tricked us. It is a trick of enormous deception that we live in a world of contracts. And we think we have to contract. I've tried to describe this before, that if you can imagine a great big market with all the necessary stalls that you need, from your electric, to your gas, to your driving licence, to your TV licence, to your water, to your telephone, to your mobile telephone, to your internet service provider, this big market that exists requires you to contract with each of them individually. That's why they always ask you the same questions. If I could just take your name, this call may be recorded for monitoring and training purposes. Just for the Data Protection Act, could I please ask for your name, the first line of your address, your postcode, and your date of birth, please? And they've designed it so when you give them that, you have now contracted with them because you've agreed to answer their questions. So now the conversation goes on, and here are our terms and conditions. Because you've agreed. And we didn't know. We didn't know. We were told these people were there for our good. And they're not. Because they act in a way that is not good for us, while telling us it is. Now, the good news is that this global awakening is not slowing down in pace. And let's listen to a man who actually knows what's going on, because he sits at the very, very, very top table. Mr. Zabiknu Brzezinski. Good. I'm delighted to hear it. It's about time that they admitted that we're getting the hang of this, aren't we? We are slowly getting the hang of it.
Yep.
It's taking some time, isn't it?
It is.
Now, I'm going to play a little bit of something else, and I don't want you to fall into the trap of saying that it's not true. I don't want you to fall into the trap of saying that anybody could have written this and it just doesn't mean anything. Because if you're going to shoot the messenger, you're never going to get the message. Okay? So regardless of where this information has come from, let's have a little listen, and I might just butt in a few times just to get my point across here. But regardless of where this has come from, listen to what we're going to be here. Just have a listen to this. It sounds exactly what's going on, doesn't it? Whoever wrote that and whenever it was written, it almost doesn't matter, does it? Because that appears to be about as close as we can describe it right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Earlier on today, we sat down and said, can human beings do this? Are they that clever?
Mm-hmm.
And we said we don't know. But we know we don't know. And that's the key to this, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We don't try and answer what we don't know. We just try and ask the question.
Yeah.
And that is all we can do. Because the enormity of the picture that I now see tells me that there is a control system above our available level of consciousness, of understanding and power. Back to the language, it has to have been written by an intelligence that is... I cannot describe it. I don't have the words available to me. The intelligence that has achieved what they have got today is without doubt the finest, highest intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
But it's bad for us.
Yeah. I would, as I was listening to that, I was doing all those things.
Yeah.
All those things that it said about the debt and the...
Yeah.
Just...
But it might have been written last year. The truth is, it might have been written last year.
Might have been.
You know, I mean, it appears on the internet, and once it appears on the internet, from wherever it appears, remember, they tell you they openly control the media.
Yep.
They decide what we hear. They decide what they see. And it's stuff like that can be completely designed to throw us off track.
Could be.
But I actually think you and I have achieved a picture that is as big as some and bigger than others.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's no doubt about it that we have got to this is pretend time. We are in proper, absolute pretend. Because we can't kid ourselves. We are in a lot of trouble, aren't we? Well, wherever we think we are, we're behind. We're a long way behind. Now, the race to us is to try and free ourselves from this psychopathic control system. Other people's races are to look like Cheryl Cole, or to buy their houses, or to save for retirement, or to pass the driving test. The race becomes the race becomes the race. It's always the race, isn't it? It just depends which race you want to take part in. And we're taking part in the race to save humanity as we know it. It's a hell of a challenge, isn't it? It is a hell of a challenge. Now then, I can announce next week's guest. I am so excited. I have no idea how I'm going to get through it, because I've got 101 questions, and I think I'll probably fluff the whole lot of it. But next week's guest is... Do you want to tell him? Go on, Go on.
Would it be Michael Tsarian?
It is Michael Tsarian. He is coming live on our station next Tuesday. Michael Tsarian. Giving you lots and lots of advance notice here. Right, okay? Try, if you will, to help me, because I'm going to be a little bit flustered. I don't think I'm going to be too bad, but I'll be a bit flustered before I get settled in. I think you might be able to spot that, to be honest. But if you can think of any questions that you want to actually post, or you've got a whole week now, you've got to get ready for this. Try and think of some good questions for me to help me out, because you know that I'm going to be, I do get flustered sometimes. I get carried away talking, and it makes perfect sense to me and no bloody sense to anybody else. So, for another Tuesday, it's time to say goodnight to the world and thank you for listening. It's been great fun as usual. Am I back on Saturday? I should be okay. I'm hoping I've got enough time. Got a few little jobs to do, but I wouldn't miss it unless I really have to. Good night.